Chuji Anji Podrana, Toksen Sanji Kanji Ngonyet, Razama Shulka Muzamas Tunza, Sare Lama Namla Sorate, Kirba Sanji Chua Shikdanye, Yamba Drupa Shomla Tanta, Sanjine Manere Dambe Janso To Janso Shabla Sorade Lame Josme Janso Dojeta Shilka Kure Pama Shomlaji Shenru Zunga Gelwe Nyuku Ye Tanta Trupa Tanjina Trupara Ho Ranjin Lame Trambe Kaje Qasme Jaro Shidru Latsoche Rale Jana Nipre Tujo Tuyo Irmi Chivare Shinji Lo. Homage to Sakyamuni Buddha, homage to His Holiness Lama Achuk, homage to our root guru, Gelwe Nyugu Rinpoche. Everybody give rise to bodhicitta, to benefit countless suffering sentient beings. May all beings have happiness and all the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and all the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the great happiness, devoid of suffering. May they forever dwell in the great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. And we carry on these most precious teachings of Atisha, the Bodhisattva's garland of jewels. Last week, what we spoke about was our dullness, our procrastination, being lazy. And the week before that, we spoke about enthusiasm, and we've spoken about doubt and skepticism. And I was just thinking the things that take us away from our practice. And I was thinking that the other day I was walking around and I saw there was somebody, I think they were very fit. I think a good jogger, there must have been a good jogger. They were coming, they were walking down. It looked like they had just finished jogging and they were jogging with their dog. And it looked like the jogger still had a lot of energy, but the dog didn't have any energy at all. The dog seemed to be not wanting to walk, slow down, sit down, then carry on and go and walk again, and then not want to walk again. So it really seemed like the dog had no energy. And as they were going along, suddenly this rabbit jumped out. And then suddenly the dog just shot off over there after the rabbit and went running into the fields, crying, and had, I don't know, it must have chased for a long time, and then came back and then suddenly didn't have any energy anymore. And I just thought that's sometimes like us with our practice. When it comes to practice, we're sitting there, we're going, we don't seem to have the enthusiasm, we don't seem to have the energy, but as soon as somebody calls, let's go for coffee, let's go for a movie, let's go party, you won't believe there's this beautiful art center that's just opening, and suddenly we've got so much energy and we can go watch a movie, watch for 2 hours, we're not even tired. We don't miss a beat. Don't distract me from watching the movie, we've got full attention. And then when we finished, we go back to our practice, and after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it would be nice if we had that energy to run to our practice like that, and for 2 hours, not miss a beat, not miss a single thought, a single arising thought. Today we start talking a little bit about awareness, and every single one of us has awareness. any sentient being. Sentient being means a being with mind, has awareness. If you've got mind, you've got awareness. It's one of the qualities of our mind. And what is this awareness? It's this mind that knows. Knows that we're hot, knows that we're cold, knows that we're hungry. It knows that we're not hungry, it knows that we have thoughts, it knows that we're not thinking. This is this mind we're talking about. This is the awareness of the mind that knows. And it's important that we cultivate it again, or we come back to it. The biggest problem we have is that we forget about it. What do I mean that we forget about it? For instance, we're driving along in our car, and we're going for a while, and then we think, they say, what? You say, did I go through a red traffic light, or was it a green traffic light? I don't remember. We lost our awareness. Sometimes we just do things, we get lost in thought. So this is very interesting, actually. The English language, you say, lost in thought. Have you lost your mind? We lose this awareness. So it's very important that we come back, that we train our awareness again. Come back again and again to our awareness. Come back to the present, abide in the present. And how does this help us? By being abiding in the present, we're watching what is happening. Not only what's happening in the external world, we're also watching what's happening in our internal world. What's happening in our mind, what thoughts are arising, what emotions are arising. And then, if we have that awareness, we can carry on with the thought, or we can let go of the thought. Let that thought go, let that thought go. And this can save us a lot of trouble. How does this help us? Is because every arising thought, if we watch it and we choose, we have choice. Okay, we have choice. That is a positive thought. This thought is really going to benefit others. This thought is full of patience. This thought is full of love and kindness. It's going to help people in this or that way. Let me go with the thought. If it's another thought that's arising, it's angry, it's hurtful, it's spiteful, it's going to bring us down, it's got no confidence, or it's say, I can't do this, then we can just look and say, do I really need to invest in this thought? No, and we let it go. Of course, this is if you're a really good practitioner. And then, because we're not investing in those thoughts, what's happening is we're not creating calm. Or if we are investing in those thoughts, we are creating karma. We're creating in the karma we want to create, positivity, benefiting others. Those seeds that are going to germinate into positive results. And those that aren't, the weeds, the ones we don't want, the ones that are going to cause us future suffering, we let them go. But if we don't, then we let all those negative thoughts get stronger. They start to become an action. They become what we do with our body, speech, and mind. And then we have to deal with the result. We plant the seeds with the action, and eventually those actions, those seeds are going to germinate. The causes and conditions come together, and then we are going to have to deal with it. So we are the actor and we're the director. Or we're the director and we're the actor. We direct the show. We choose which thoughts we put energy into, that we invest in, and then we act out the result of them. So if you have that awareness, you've got the choice. Which of those thoughts, what show do I want to be involved in the future? Which movie am I going to be involved in? But if we don't have awareness, then we get involved with all of these negative thoughts and these negative actions of body, speech, and mind. And then what we do is that maybe we hurt other people, and then we create our own suffering for the future. And then we have to take responsibility for it. We have to act it out. So you see the importance of watching your thoughts, having awareness every moment, moment by moment, having awareness. How do we experience this world? Through our body, speech, and mind. who's the boss? Is the mind. That's the captain of the ship. Body doesn't do anything without first the instruction of mind, and we don't say things first without the instruction of the mind. I know sometimes something just blurts out, and we think, where did that come from? But in reality, either we've practiced a habit, and a habit is in our mind, or when people say things or do things that we feel a certain way about, we trigger this type of reaction. Or we've been thinking about it. We thought about it a week ago, a few days ago, and when we thought about it, we said, don't say anything, don't say anything, leave it. But because we're thinking about it, suddenly the cause and conditions came together, and where did that come from? Oh, I didn't want to say that. And we said, where did it come from? It started first within our own minds. So it's very important, if you want to stop those actions, that we stop at first what is happening within our own mind. So there's a question we ask ourselves. So if we have a cup of tea, and we want to drink some tea, is it the body decides that we drink some tea? Or is the mind that decides that we drink some tea? And if you say it's the body, then what happens if the mind says no? And if you say it's the mind, what if the body says no? We have this awareness, and it's there all the time. It's actually there 24 hours of the day. You say, but what about when we're sleeping? How much awareness? Maybe we don't have a lot of awareness then. But maybe we're still having a dream. There must be some form of awareness during the dream. And when there's a loud sound outside, when you feel funny, something funny is going on, when the alarm goes off, how do we wake up if there's no awareness? How does suddenly our body wake up? In actual fact, the great teachers, they have awareness 24 hours of the day. They never lose their awareness. Even when they sleep, their body's sleeping, but they're still aware of what's going on around them. They maintain that awareness. And remember, there's a story that Minga Rinpoche told us, and when he was young, and maybe, I don't know how old they were very young, and they were learning these texts, and the text you had to recite maybe for an hour, and he and a couple of his colleagues, or schoolmates, or monastery friends, fellow monks, they had to recite this without any text, without any pictures, and they were in front of their teacher, and they started reciting, and this one was helping that one helping this one, all three of them. They were just keeping the text going. After about 15 minutes, their teacher fell asleep. And they looked, and then they carried on reciting. They got to about half an hour, and then all of them forgot that one line, the next line. They looked at each other, what are we going to do? What should we say? And while they're looking at each other, their teacher woke up, told them the next line, and then they carried on reciting, and he went back to sleep again. So all the time, while he was asleep, he was still aware of every sentence they were going through. So it's very important that we come back to our awareness, develop this awareness. What is the biggest problem? Is we forget it. So we must forget it less is of great benefit. And when we're practicing as well, sometimes, let's say we've got our rosary, we've got the mala, we call it the mala. Let's say we're doing an Om Mani Padme Hum practice. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. What's it doing? It's helping us, keeping our mind here, present. That touch, that feel, is reminding us to be present. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. And if we're doing a visualization, let's say we're doing a practice of spreading our boundless love, Om Mani Padme Hum, to all sentient beings, we're still present. If not, then what happens is Om Mani Padme Hum, and then we start to think, our mouth is going Om Mani Padme Hum, but we're thinking, oh, there's that holiday I really want to go on. I wonder who I should invite. Last time the mouth is going Om Mani Padme Hum, but your mind is not there. And then you're not really practicing. All that you're doing is they laugh, they say that you're filing your nails with this. So it must be present. It's very important. The quality of your practice. Bring your mind back. Bring your mind back. Your awareness to the present. Sometimes, why is our practice not improving? Because we're not in the present. Because we're not doing the practice properly. We're not doing it according to the practices. It's like taking medicine. If you've got medicine from the doctor, you take it according to the prescription of the doctor. He says, take this pill 3 times a day, or take this medicine 3 times a day. But you decide, you'll only take it once a day, and you'll vary it this time at lunchtime, maybe tomorrow at breakfast, miss 2 days, and then do a little bit. Is this medicine going to help? Or if you decide, the doctor says, take this during the day, this one keeps you awake during the day, and this one you take at night, it's going to help you sleep at night, and you decide to take the one that you should be taking at night, during the day, or you take the one during the day you should be taking at night, or you get confused, you forget which one's which. What's going to happen during the day? You're going to be trying to stay awake and you just can't stay awake. And then when you want to go to sleep at night, I can't sleep. So take your medicine according to this prescription. The same as well with the practice. Practice according to the way you're told to practice, according to the practices, according to the guidelines of the great teachers. And then it'll really help us. But if not, we're not going to improve. And they say, why am I not improving? And for some people, this happens. They don't improve, and they practice for a while, a long time, and then they get disheartened. This doesn't work. I've practiced this for so long. And then what happens is, because it doesn't work, they get disheartened, they don't want to practice anymore. Maybe they slander the practices, they tell other people, don't go to those practices. They didn't help me, they know you're good. Practices work if you do them properly. These practices, these teachings have helped so many sentient beings. So many. So there's so much proof that they work. Just that we must practice them properly. Sometimes what happens as well, so we don't want to change. Actually, we don't want to change. We only want to do a little bit. We only want to do this, the part that we like. We don't want to do the part that we feel uncomfortable with. Just like the medicine. We only want to take this medicine. We don't want to take all of the medicine. And then are we really going to attain liberation? We're so used to doing the things that we like. Doing these things that we like. We might experience some happiness, but has it taken us to liberation? After all of these lifetimes, have we been liberated? Are we liberated? So do we really know best? If you carry on like this, your practice, the improvement might take a lot longer. In fact, sometimes those things that we like so much, we think that are so good, in fact, might not really be helping us. They might actually be causing obstacles. They might actually be causing harm, planting seeds for causing us harm in the future. Like these great movies that appear in our mind. If we're not watching, we don't have the awareness, the movie starts. This fantasy about the future, about this person, about the past. They might be nice fantasies, they might not be nice fantasies, they might be villains. And if you don't stop them, even the nice ones, you say, well, I like this one, I want to stay, I'd rather carry on this one. This one I like. When you're practicing, practice. What we're doing is coming back to the present. If you're doing shamatha practice, back to the present. Do that. Even if this is a nice thought, bring it back. Bring it back to the present. Bring it back to the present. Because if you don't, it might feel like a nice story that you're getting involved. It's a great movie. It's an epic, in fact. You've been watching this movie in different forms and different versions for many years. If you don't stop it, if you can't transform it when you want, one, it's wasting all your time, it's consuming your life force. The other is that you can't stop this one. When the negative one, the nightmare starts, you're also not going to be able to change it. Stop it. And it's going to carry you away into some dark, unhappy, sad, despairing, angry place. So really practice. Become very adequate at transforming this mind stream of ours. Whatever thought arises. And watch these thoughts like we watch our breath. Or not that we watch our breath, that we breathe. If we don't breathe, what's going to happen to us? If we don't breathe for 10 minutes, we're probably not going to have any awareness anymore. We need to breathe. How many times in a minute? Try and make that minimum. As many times as we breathe is as many times as we must be sure that we're present. Minimum. Make it as important as our breath. As important. Breathing, we need to live. Watching our awareness, if we don't watch it, it's going to cause us all sorts of trouble. All of those arising thoughts, all of those negative habits. Not just for this lifetime, for future lifetimes and future lifetimes. The moment we don't have the ability to liberate those thoughts. The moment what happens, the first thought comes, the first emotion, the emotion comes, the first thought, the second thought, let it go, but the third one gets stronger, the fourth one gets stronger. By the fifth time, the series of thoughts, this emotion has arisen, takes us away. And then we're chasing after the crazy monkey. And it causes us all sorts of problems. We run after there, we run it after there. Chasing it, it drags us along. We get home, we're exhausted. Why? Because as those thoughts arose, they got stronger and we weren't be able to transform. Let them go. But as your practice improves, the first thought arises, the same strength. The second thought is weaker. The third thought is weak. Fourth time, gone. You don't make them as action of body, speech, or mind. They leave no trace. They don't plant any seeds of karma for the future. These thoughts are like the waves in the ocean. The waves come and they go. Sometimes what happens, people might think that the waves are separate from the ocean. There's big ones, there's small ones, all types of different waves. But in reality, the waves have never left the ocean. They arise from the ocean, they fall back into the ocean. The essence is still the ocean. This is the same with our thoughts, our random thoughts, positive and negative. They arise from our true nature of mind and they fall back into our true nature of mind. But we think of them, we see them as being so solid, so real, because we haven't realized their essence. We haven't realized that they are just coming, they're rising and subsiding from the true nature of mind. Just like maybe ice and water. The ice is very solid. But when it melts, it becomes the water. And the essence is the same. The ice is still water. And this is where we still see as well that the 5 poisons, are actually the 5 wisdoms. And what is this guy talking about now? Now the 5 poisons, our anger, our greed, our pride, our jealousy, our ignorance, all of these emotions that cause us suffering and others suffering, that we have to be so careful of, that we have to transform, otherwise we're going to, if we don't transform them, we don't have to. But if we don't, what they're going to do, they're going to create suffering, karma, uncomfortable karma. Now he says that their wisdom, can he make up his mind? So I think just like the ice and the water, if we realize the essence of those 5 poisons, those emotions, those afflictive emotions, realizing the essence as they arise, they're able to liberate. We have the awareness and the ability to liberate them. They don't become actions of body, speech, or mind. Then they become wisdom. Then they are the 5 wisdoms. Just like the ice becomes the water. The essence, we understand the essence of these afflictive emotions. And in the beginning, it's better to avoid these afflictive emotions. Better to stay away from these 5 poisons. Because at the moment, in the beginning, maybe we don't have the ability to avoid them or to not to get involved in them, not to get sucked into our old habits, our old angers, our old disappointments, our knee-jerk reactions. Much like I would say, if you have somebody that really has smoked for many, many years, or somebody that has drunk a lot of alcohol for a lot of years, or taken drugs for many years, they really want to stop. But in the beginning, if you put the drugs or the alcohol or the cigarettes in front of them, it's going to be very difficult for them to resist. But if you give them a chance to recuperate, to be able to deal with it better, then maybe in the future, when they're put in those situations, they'll be able to deal with the situation much, much better. So there's the story of Manjushri, and there's this monk, and this monk is practicing. He's got great desire for females, for the female form. And sometimes when we have these great attachments for something that we think is so beautiful, well, we attach because we think it's beautiful. We don't often attach because we think it's so ugly. But some of the ways to reduce that attachment is to look at, well, what is not so nice about it, or look at it in a different way, actually. So if we are really attached to the form of other people, male or female, what we can do is some of the practices is that we look at, so well, we think it's so beautiful, but the person's so beautiful, but what if they don't wash for a long time? Is that skin of theirs going to be so beautiful? Are they going to smell so nice? And that skin, is it really just flesh and blood? And is flesh so nice? Is blood so nice? And in looking at it in this way, maybe we don't have that strong desire. Or we go to a morgue, look at the bodies over there, and see if they're so attractive. And go see them maybe after a few days when they're starting to smell and they maybe even have worms in them. It really helps to reduce this attachment. It also helps to reduce the attachment we have to our own bodies. This body of ours that we treasure so much. When we're dead and our bodies are looking like that, even those people that loved us so much are not going to be so attached to those bodies, that's for sure. Anyway, so he's practicing, this monk, he's got this great desire for woman. And he really wants to break this desire, and he's practicing these practices. And they're really working quite well, and when it's not so good, he avoids them, avoids any contact or any being in the space of women. And he starts teaching his students, and Mandrushi's watching this, and Mandrushi's he's enjoying himself. Now Mandrushi, he can make himself, transform himself into any form he wants to be. I think much like Zeus or Jupiter can, the Greek and Roman gods, and then they like to have fun. Sometimes they transform themselves and then they have their way with other people. But this is not the intention of Mandrushi. Mandrushi does this so he can test their practice. He applies wisdom to help them with their practice. So he transformed himself into this most beautiful woman. And not only that, because he had such an incredible state of mind, he's like super magnetic as well. Or she now. And starts flirting with this monk. This monk is starting to apply his antidotes. But these antidotes are just not working today. Something's not going so well. He's just not winning. He's not winning. So eventually he gets up and he runs away. The only thing he thinks, let me avoid this. And he runs away. But he can't run away from Mandrushi. So Mandrushi, in the form of the beautiful woman, follows him and eventually goes down. Leave me alone, leave me alone. And then Mandrushi transforms back into his normal form. And he says to the monk, he says, the best practice is to be free of discrimination of good or bad. So this is practices for later. But in the beginning, this type of practice really does help as well. Unless, of course, you meet Mandrushi on the path, then we maybe will see how well our practice is doing. And this is also something that we do. We're often pursuing these higher practices, wisdom emptiness. True nature of mind. But in the beginning, it's important to establish a good foundation. Start with renunciation. Practice renunciation. Practice bodhicitta. If you practice this well, then when you start the higher practices, it'll be much easier. But if you don't, and you go straight for the higher practices, you don't have the foundation, then it's probably going to be like, or there's a good chance it'll be like building your castle on the ice lake. Eventually the ice melts and the castle falls through. You haven't built a good foundation. The same as well. If you just go the higher practices, you don't have that good foundation, it's a good chance that you're not going to realize those really high practices. Or it'll be much, much more difficult. And there's the most incredible teachings. Vast. These teachings are so vast. What limits these teachings? Is our own conceptuality, our own limitations. We give it limitations. We limit it because our mind is narrow. Our mind is not as vast as the teachings. And there are numerous different ways, different methods. Don't be worried or concerned about the fact that other people have different practices or they're following a different lineage or a different religion. Different people have different tastes, they have different connections. Be happy for them. Happy that they found the practice that suits them the most. As long as the practice is going to help us to have love and kindness towards all sentient beings, and is going to help us to realize our true nature. Just like there's many different plates of food. This person likes this food, that person likes hot, this one likes spicy. This one likes sweet. This one's salty. Don't have to get upset and challenge everybody because of what they're eating. You can be happy for them. You eat your meal happily, and they eat theirs happily. And also, what would happen if we said to everybody, we're having this dish, we're having spicy. For those that like spicy, oh, great, my favorite meal. But for others who don't, they might not be so happy. And you say, we're going to have it for 5 days. But for some people, wonderful. For other people, oh, this is really getting a bit much. And then we say for the whole month. Even those people that really like it might think after 2 or 3 weeks, they really want something else, something different. So there's all sorts of different ways to help others. We practice shamatha. So this is often where we start with. As we say, we start with renunciation. We practice bodhicitta. We start with shamatha meditation to help bring us back, bring this awareness back, bring us back to the object, bring us back to the breath, bring us back to the sound. Train the mind, train the mind. And when we really practice, our mind can really become more and more calm, more and more tranquil. We can transform these emotions much quicker. We can let go of them much quicker. We don't get involved in them so much. And what's the benefit? Emotionally, you don't have so much turmoil. You don't have so much turmoil, already life is better. You have a lot more happiness time. You're a lot more effective. You're a lot more efficient. You're a lot more aware of what's going on. And what's going on, we can deal with it as it arises. Our body's healthier. Our body's happier. So there's numerous benefits. And before, when we were upset or we were full of afflictive emotions, what did we do? Maybe go find somebody else. Give them a hard time. Make a nuisance of ourselves. Disrupt them. No, we don't have to. Don't have to make other people unhappy as well. Sometimes make them unhappy. We can sort it out ourselves. Very simple, very easy. As one great master said, as you walk, eat, travel, wherever you are, be present, or else you might miss most of your life. And presence. What can you really give other people? You can give them your presence, being present. Isn't this a wonderful present to give people? How many people these days are together, but they're not present? They're lost in this thought. They're lost in that thought. They're lost in their phones. They're lost in their thoughts. English is very interesting, isn't it? Have you lost your mind? Lost in thought? Lost your awareness? Forgot it? It's like surfing, maybe. Have you ever been surfing? When we start to surf, it's pretty difficult. We go out there, try to get out into the waves. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. We get out the first wave, maybe we get through the second wave, smashes us back again. Takes us back again till we start, we try again, we get taken back by another wave. Sometimes it even comes the waves, one wave hits us, we go under the water, we come up, another one hits us as we come up trying to breathe. And choking underneath the water, we come up again and they get hit again and we think, how am I ever going to get out of this? Am I going to live? But after a while, we get better and better. We're able to get out further and further into the waves, where we get to a place where we can watch the waves. This is the same as with our meditation as well, our practice. The beginning, I really want to meditate, transform my thoughts, but the first set of emotions come. The first train of thoughts comes and knock us over. We get lost in them, we get taken away by them. And sometimes one after the other, after the other, after the other, we think, I can't do this. Or have I ever been meditating? But slowly we get better and better. We get into it. Get into a place where we're able to come back, be present more and more. And then we go surfing. We get into those waves. We catch a few. We get thrown, knocked around by a few. But more and more we're able to stand up. We're able to, the little ones we can catch, we can stand up. And then we get fall down again. Sometimes we try to avoid the waves. We get hit by them. We get dumped. But sometimes we're okay. We can work through them. Sometimes we let them go. We don't want to catch this wave. We watch this wave go. We watch that wave go. Sometimes succeeding, sometimes not. The same as well with the practice. Sometimes those emotions, those thoughts come. Sometimes we can't avoid them. They take us away again. They take us away again. But sometimes we can just watch them. Oh, this thought, I leave it alone. Let it go. This thought, leave it alone. Let it go. Come back present again. We start to have more choice, more ability to watch these thoughts and to adopt them or to liberate them. So we adopt those positive ones. Oh, there's a great positive thought. This is really going to benefit others. Let's give this thought energy. Negative one, let it go. Negative one, let it go. Negative one, bang. Takes us away again. We get lost in it. And then we get it again, bang. And then we start to think, have I been meditating? What's going on? Sometimes it's so good. You think, wow, I'm really doing this so well. But then some days we think, wow, this is so difficult. The same in the ocean. Sometimes we're just catching those waves. We're catching those waves. Good wave. I want to ride this one. I don't want to ride this one. I let it go. And sometimes we're out there and I want to let this go and go, but it hits me and it takes me away. Dumps me, throws me around. Come back and the next one does the same. Sometimes good days, bad days. Then eventually we get to the stage where we're out in the ocean. Doesn't matter what the weather is like, what the conditions are like. They're huge waves. They're dumping, they're curling. It's calm. We know which way, where to go, how to ride them, which ones to stay away from, which ones we want to take, which ones we want to let go. We can really start to handle basically any one of those waves as they come. We choose them, we can ride them. We don't want to choose them, we have the option, we just let them go. And the same with the practice as well. We get better and better. As that thought comes, as those thoughts come, those emotions come, we can decide. Yes, I take this one. Let that one go. That one's negative, let it go. Negative, let it go. Negative, let it go. Positive, this is the one I want to take. We adopt it. This is positive. This is beneficial. No matter which conditions there are, what environment we're in. So we're so enthusiastic about surfing. So let's really improve our surfing. You get so good, you get better and better. You see these people, new people coming to surf, and you see them battling. And you think you wish for them to really be able to surf one day, surf well. You see people battling with all of these emotions, all of these fabrications, and you really wish for them to be free of all of these fabrications, not to be tossed around by all of these, their crazy monkey mind. all of these afflictions, all of these random thoughts, all of these habits. And I forgot to read the verse. The verse is, did I read it? I'll read it again if not. Mindful and vigilant and careful. Guard the doorways of your senses at every moment. 3 times each day, 3 times at night. Again and again, examine your thoughts. So awareness, mindfulness, being vigilant. Vigilant like we are if we think that there's a robber going to come. You sit there waiting. There's no chance the thief is coming. He's seeing this guy's watching out. He's always waiting. He knows something's up. He's waiting with the same vigilance. Watch. Don't let one thought come and steal away your awareness. Steal away your happiness and your time and your precious life. Unless you choose to invest in that thought. 6 times a day. What are we saying 6 times a day? Because if you check every now and then, what am I doing? Sometimes we got caught up in our old habits. Oh, this is not really what I'm meant to be doing. I'm meant to be doing something else. So we go back to what we're meant to be doing. So it's good to often check. It's best to be checking every single moment, all the time, like our breath. It's like these apps that we have. These apps that give us directions. You put in the location, it's quite incredible. They know new routes you've never heard of. Where there's traffic, which is the quickest route. Which route do you want to take? Then you're going along on your route, and then you take the wrong road, and it reminds you, come back. You come back, and you carry on, you take the wrong road again, it reroutes you, come back, you go again. Check every now and then, what are you doing? Are you on the right path? Of course, sometimes when we're driving, we just decide, I want to go down that road, and don't care today if it's not the right road or it's the right direction. But it's good to check and rather stay on the road, on the path. Otherwise, what we do is we just we create our own causes and conditions, and then we have to bear the brunt, or we have to experience the fruit of it, the result of it. We end for today, over there. We got through 4 lines today. Let's dedicate these merits. First, the greatest of gratitude to Gyaltsen Guru Rinpoche, to Achuk Lama, and to all perfect teachers. By these merits, may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemies of wrongdoings in the turbulent waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. May all be liberated from the ocean of samsara. Sonamdaye tamcha tsipanye, tobnye nyepe dranam kajejam, keka nachi balam trupai, tsibi tsoli droa sho. Surf's up,